Hi there, this is Ronnie coming at you with a video. I was watching a video from Pair of Geeks earlier. Good video, worth a watch. And Becky was talking about the idea that the world, the start of your adventure should not be the start of the story. It should be the start of the character's story, obviously, because that's when they're entering it. But the world should have been happening. Things should have been happening in the world before the characters get involved in the story and around it and all the rest of it. And I agree, pretty much. It made me think about a situation that's come up quite recently. Currently playing Shaintar. Running Shaintar, more accurately. And one of my players is very new to role-playing. And his background is sort of game books and role-playing video games. And the thing about game books and computer role-playing games is the focus is very much on you being the hero. Even in computer role-playing games, you might start off as a very lowly character, but the storyline invariably, not all the time, but invariably, your character is fated. It is that character's destiny to rid the world of its terrible and great evil, and you know you're questing towards that goal. And it's understandable from that point of view, and a lot of stories have made mention of that. You know, the sort of mythic sort of hero's journey. This is a great hero's journey thing. And that's fine in and of itself. But where my campaign is going, at the way it's been written, none of them are fated. It might happen, but none of them are fated. Where it sort of realized there was a problem was they were camping overnight because they're doing a journey. Essentially, at the moment, they're just glorified mailmen. They're delivering a letter from one royal house to another royal house. And it's a war zone, so there's a lot of fighting. And they set up camp overnight and they were doing watch. And in the distance, they could hear a siege, a battle going on during the night. There was some siege going on. And we're talking, way in the distance on the horizon. They could sort of hear the sort of sound of distant thunder, as I called it. And they could, hear sort of battle cries and so on. And this particular player wanted to go where the battle was. His reasoning for this was, it must be why we're here as characters. If we're not going to that battle, what is our purpose? And it made me realise that there was a disconnect. I had to take him to the side at the end of the session and sort of explain it to him that this world is, these things, this war is happening, these things are happening. This battle wasn't happening nearby because these players just happened to be there. This battle was happening, they just happened to be there at the time. I could have easily have not had any battle happening in the distance, but the truth is, it's a land sort of erupting into war. And he went in this long spiel in game about, we should be questing. There's bound to be some sort of magic item or something. And what I basically said, there may very well be a magic item, and the actual heroes of the land are off adventuring. Right now, you're delivering a letter. And it took some doing by me to actually get him off of this sort of mindset that they weren't the main characters of the overall story. We were just looking at the overall story from their perspective. Now, I've got to watch what I say here because a couple of my players do actually watch these videos. There is obviously a lot going on and lots are about to happen. And the players may very well find themselves in a position where they are having to sort of push and sort of rise to the challenge. And in time, they may very well become, if they survive, they may very well become the great champions of the realm. And maybe as the great champions of the realm, they may indeed find and defeat the great evil that's sort of, threatening their realm. But at the moment, they're just glorified postmen. There is no destiny. There is no overarching fate for them. They're just, quite literally at the moment, they're just trying to make it from dawn to dusk and from dusk to dawn. At the moment, they're trying to make it from dusk to dawn because they're right in the middle of they arrived at a city just as it was about to be attacked by sort of forces, and they're helping the city defend it. And we're going into the kind of second session of that when we play tomorrow. So it was interesting to me seeing this idea that someone wasn't quite grasping the concept that they weren't the hero, that they weren't the sort of fated, destined heroes of the realm. They're just characters in the story, carving out their own little niche. Time will tell. They may very well find themselves as great heroes, but there's no fate involved per se. No one's being. I'm not grooming the storyline about these guys. That they're, it is their destiny to save the realm. No, it's their destiny right now to get a letter from A to B, which they're close to failing at the moment if they don't watch themselves. So yeah, I want to throw it out there for people, just to chat about. To me, and when I was younger, and I thought as a child, the heroes were the great heroes of the realm in my games. But as I've gotten older, and hopefully I've matured as a gamer, and as a scenario writer, as a GM, my world lives and breathes whether those characters are in it or not. I've long been of the opinion that if such and such is, if some great event is going to happen in a particular place, it will happen. Now, the characters might have absolutely no way of knowing it's going to happen. Their actions may have absolutely no influence on that event whatsoever. Or they might influence it so it happens quicker. Or maybe a little later. Or maybe they influence, by way of events, they influence things that it doesn't happen at all. But if they're not there to influence it, or if they have no influence, this event will happen. And I don't make these events, I mean, some events are happening, you know, some events are sort of geared towards the characters, but mostly events are happening and they're just there. The characters just happen to be there at the time. You know, as I say, this siege at the moment, this siege isn't the town that they're in that's getting hit. They're not getting this town's not getting hit because these characters are in this city. These characters are in this city. It's just getting hit. They just happen to be there, and you know they're helping out. But they're there is no cause and effect. Their presence isn't making the action happen. The action is happening. They're just there, and they're dealing with it. If they decided to find some secret passage out of the city, the siege would still go on. If they all died, the siege would still go on. They are irrelevant. I mean, they're not even to the level of actually being able to command troops. I mean, the battle I'm doing is literally from sort of ground, just what they're experiencing, what they're doing, rather than sort of taking a grand sort of war game view of it. It's basically the soldier on the ground. So I'll put a link into Becky's video, because it's what kind of kicked me into gear for this. But it's not technically a video response. It's just something that got inspired by it. So that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another video.